Last week we released a video on who's releasing the airliners in 2023. Some of the comments in the video asked what's happening with other projects. This has led us to this part 2. In this video we have included all the airliners in development that we expect to release in 2023. If it hasn't been mentioned in this video or the last video, the project that you're wanting to come to life, it probably means it's very quiet. Let's hope your airliner makes it in this video. Kicking off part 2 in no particular order. Just Flight has many projects in development at the moment, and it will be a big year for the in-house development team over at Just Flight. In the last video we mentioned about the Fokker F28, but Just Flight have a few more airliners that are expected to release this year. The BAE RJ from Just Flight is the successor for their release of the BAE 146 that was in 2022. The RJ was introduced in 1993 in the real world and is built on similar platforms as the BAE 146 with many upgrades in modernization and also avionics and systems. The project by Just Flight was announced shortly after the release of the BAE 146, and the team have been posting regular updates, and we are expecting it to release sometime in 2023. The RJ will release 3 different variants of the aircraft, the RJ70, the 85 and also the 100, including 25 plus real world liveries. Very realistic 3D models with all the 4K texturings, detail mapping down to each rivet, realistic animations including all door passengers and cargoes, and also the tail brake and controlled surfaces have all been animated as well. An EFB tablet to control weight, performances, doors and flight calculations. Nearly all the switches, knobs and levers are animated and working, and a custom coded systems including hydraulics, electrical, engine bleed, fuel and pressurized systems. The team have already been showcasing the in-sim video of the RJ, although we don't have any release date just yet. We are expecting this iconic aircraft to release sometime in 2023. AnyBuilds, which is the team behind the Airbus A310, which is part of the 40th anniversary edition and the recent release of the Antonov 225, they are expecting to deliver their next airline in the sim in 2023, which is the Airbus A300-600F. The aircraft has been a flagship product for the team and released in other sim platforms, and with their announcement in late 2022, the team mentioned they would release the A300 in 2023. The A300 is close to its relative of the 310, and it's still in service to this day, being one of the biggest cargo workhorses for many large freighter companies including FedEx and UPS. We expect this release to be at the same level of standard, if not higher than the 310, and be a realistic rendition of the real aircraft with features including detailed 3D modeling with 4K textures, realistic flight model, custom sound set, detailed custom FMS, autopilot that includes SID, STARS, VNAV and LNAV capability, custom systems including hydraulics, electrical, pressurized, fuel and operations. Also an EFB rich in features. We haven't heard much about updates regarding the project since the original announcement. However, the team usually doesn't disappoint on any developments, and they're a testament to that with their previous releases. If you are excited as we are about seeing these 2 classic airliners in the sim in 2023, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We do really appreciate your support, and this lets us know we are creating the right content that you want to see on the channel. Thank you very much. Asobo announced in early 2021 they are currently in development with the ATR 42 and 72 and will be releasing in 2023. Hans Hartmann is the developer of the project and has a full support from ATR themselves. ATR is a regional airliner that first flew in the mid-80s and still in production today, and is used by many low-cost or feeder airliners around the globe. Being that this is a Microsoft-backed project, we've seen many development updates since the announcement, and the ATR will arrive in our sims at a very advanced variant of the real aircraft. The ATR will come with an advanced avionics. This will include synthetic vision, TWAS, weather radar, virtual control panel, just to mention a few. It would also have an EFB based on data provided by ATR themselves. The ATR will have a realistic flight model, engine performance that should behave within a few % of the real world numbers due to the close relationship that the team has with ATR themselves. Unfortunately, the project has been pushed back once already, and we were originally expecting it to be released by now. The Microsoft team have rescheduled a new release for sometime in late April, so we shouldn't have to wait too soon for this one. SimWorks Studios and Pilots are developing another regional airliner, this one being the Dash 7. The team announced the project in early 2022 and they have been providing minor updates along the way. The Dash is a 4-engine turboprop which is known for its short takeoff and landing capabilities. SimWorks are creating the aircraft 3D model, animation systems and flight dynamics, while Pilots, the team, are completing the rest of the project. We don't have too much in the way of expected features, however we do expect the Dash to be a very high standard as we've seen with other projects from SimWorks such as the Kodiak and the RV10. The team has mentioned that they are planning to position the Dash as both for newcomers and experienced simmers. The aim is to have a high level of system complexity that will not be overwhelming, but yet it has accurate and be feature rich. I don't believe we'll see circuit breakers being modeled with this release, but we should expect to have a sufficient autopilot that will include VNAV, LNAV, SIDS and stars. In the last update, the team planned to have the Dash 7 released within a couple of weeks, and that was at the end of 2022. And from the sounds of it, the project is near completion. We are not sure what the holdup has been, however, we are expecting to see a release sometime this year, and maybe won't be too far away. So far in part 1 we talked about Just Flight with the Fokker F28, and then in this video the BAE RJ. Well, you guessed it, Just Flight have another classic complex airliner expected to release in 2023, and this is the Fokker 100 and the 70. The Fokker 100 entered service in 1988 with the 70 followed in 1993. Even though production finished in 1997, the Fokker 100 and the 70 proved to be very popular in the private and airline sector, and many are still in service today. Just Flight is developing the Fokker from the ground up, and it will feature 4K and 8K textures for the highest possibly texture detail, realistic animations including wing flex, all the passenger doors which includes the service and the cargo doors, and the iconic lift dumpers and the tail brake that the Fokker is known for. Custom coded systems including hydraulics, fuel and pressurized systems with a comprehensive navigation and equipment, and including a custom FMS. Just Flight already have a detailed feature list over on the development page, and we're expecting the Fokker to be at the very high end when it comes to realism that we've seen with their current releases and also their other in development projects. The team is currently working on the coding for the systems, and we would expect the Fokker 100 and the 70 to release in 2023, but it may be towards the closer part of the end of the year. It's certainly going to be a big year in 2023 when it comes to high fidelity airliners with a mixture of iconic, classic and modern aircraft. We have other airliners in the pipeline from various developers that we may or may not see it released in 2023. Before we jump into a quick fire round, if you got value out of this video and you would like to see more content like this, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for your support. Jumping into the quick fire round, Next Gen Simulations announced the EMB Saab 340 in April of 2021. The small team has a few projects on the go, including version 2 of the EMB 110, which is their current focus. That being said, the final update in 2022, the Next Gen Simulations plan to release the Saab 340 in the fall of 2023. Milviz, which is now called Blackbird, announced they were developing a Boeing 737-200 for Microsoft Flight Simulator back in August 2020. The team has been quiet about this project, but with some small updates along the way. Blackbird has many projects on the go with many different types of aircraft, which all seem to be taking a long time to develop with its development cycle. This one could be a 50-50 chance, but they are planning on releasing it in 2023, or it may slide over into 2024, but we thought it was worth including in the fire round. Flight Sim Studios rocked the Flight Sim community earlier this year with a very early release of the E175. Simmers have access to purchase the 175 already, however it's still very many development days ahead of this project. The team has mentioned that the lead time is about 12 months before we see a full release in 2023, with many updates along the way. Yes, it's released now, but the full release won't be till the end of the year, and that's why this one's made the fire round. We have seen many well-known developers and newcomers alike have announced airliners that they are developing for Microsoft Flight Simulator. If we haven't included them in this video and also in the part 1, it's because the project updates have gone very silent. We can't tell if they're still being developed at this stage. If you want to see some more in-depth videos of some of the development projects we have mentioned in both of these videos, be sure to check some of the links in the description below. If you know about any other projects that we have missed that have a planned release for airliners in 2023, let us know in the comments below and we'll do some research and we may have another video coming out soon.